Republicans have a good shot at flipping the House, maybe even the Senate, but President Biden doesn't seem too concerned.
75% of voters say the country is heading into the wrong direction, despite the results of last night. What in the next 2 years do you intend to do differently to change people's opinion of the direction of the country, particularly as you contemplate a run for president in 2024?
Nothing.
Beverly Hallberg is District Media Group President and Independent Women's Forum Fellow, and she joins us now. Beverly, when you hear the president say he's going to do nothing to improve the horrific economic status of our country, what goes through your head?
What goes through my head is he thought that Election Day was a victory lap that he could take because of the results. But look, while he was having a good day with the press yesterday and did have some reason to, Democrats did do better than expectations. He thinks this is about him, and it's not. In addition to 75% of the country being unhappy with the direction of where things are going, you also had people come out and say that we don't want him to run in 2024. 2/3 of Americans don't want him to. And also, this is a surprising stat. 1 in 5 Democrats don't know if he could serve effectively because of his mental capability. So while the president may look at midterms as a rubber stamp approval on how he's run so far, he needs to take a hard look at himself. I think the problem was that Republicans ran on what was wrong and not what they can do to fix it. And that's going to be essential, especially as inflation continues to creep up.
Yeah, yesterday he was also asked if he was going to run in 2024, given the results. He said it's his intention to do so. But then there's a progressive group that launched a Don't Run Joe campaign in New Hampshire, warning we cannot risk losing in 2024. We shouldn't gamble on Joe Biden's low approval rating. And that smacks the president with a bit of reality. He may be happy about what happened in the midterms, but he is still very unpopular, even within his own party.
Very unpopular, and this is something Democrats are going to have to really wrestle and figure out whether or not they're going to come behind him. And look, one of the things the president did yesterday as well is he's already pointing out his opponents. He coined them the Ron and Don show. I kind of like that. I think it's pretty catchy. But he's already trying to point out that there's going to be some infighting among Republicans as well. I think Ron DeSantis is going to run, and Donald Trump has a big announcement next week, and he's already been bashing Ron DeSantis, even coming out on Truth Social yesterday saying that he got 1.1 million more votes than Ron DeSantis did in Florida. So I think there is going to be a big show on the Republican side. And I think President Biden is hoping he can point to that conflict to pull some of the heat away from himself.
Beverly, in your earlier answer, you mentioned Joe Biden's mental status. My retort to you is, when has that stopped Democrats before, including now? MSNBC host Katie Tur speculating that Pennsylvania Senator-elect John Fetterman could run for president someday. Listen to this.
Fetterman as a nominee at some point for president. I know there's some variables, obviously. What he did in the super red, deep red parts of Pennsylvania, and the way that he ran ahead of Biden, as you were saying, ran ahead of Trump. I mean, it just makes you wonder about his future.
2 questions, Beverly. 1, what the? And 2, doesn't this prove that Democrats will literally overlook anything in their quest for power, including the mental capacity of their candidates, first with Joe Biden and second with potentially John Fetterman?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the COVID wardrobe of casual leisure wear has prepared people for a hoodie as a president. I'm not quite sure about that. I think a lot of people have wondered what happened in Pennsylvania. But one of the things I think we could point to is there were so many early votes that were cast in that state way before the debate happened that he had between he and also Mehmet Oz in that campaign. So I think the early votes change things, but I also think it does point to that many Democrats are just going to vote for the D. It doesn't matter who it is. They don't want Republicans, and I think it shows how polarized our society is. But I'm hopeful that as we continue with elections, and hopefully debates will continue. Debates do matter so much, and as the economy continues to be a major issue, that people will vote for candidates who can really help their pocketbook and help other areas of life. I don't see Fetterman making a run for president, but who knows? I also didn't think he could win the Senate.
Yeah, there was a lot of ticket splitting on the Republican side, too, between Mastriano and Dr. Oz, and a lot of actor action reports to be had this morning. Beverly, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.